Okay, hello and welcome. Seems that we're live. Right, so let's set everything up. Looks good. Good, so let's begin. This is my 365 streams, actually, not exactly days. Yeah, I guess one stream a day is fair. So this is day 1 on 365 streams to learn art professionally. So how we're gonna be doing this is half the stream we're gonna be learning from resources we can find online, various fundamentals and other things we can learn, and afterwards we are going to apply these, and the second half of the stream, the other 50%, is just to draw for drawing's sake, for whatever we want to do. So let's pop into Photoshop real quick. Let's close this out. There we go. So what we're gonna be doing here for now is we're going to want to start with the fundamentals at least, but let's try to define a goal that we want to go for here. So although the goal of the stream is to learn the stream or learn art professionally, we should actually have a goal, right, for what we want to achieve. So what am I trying to do? Probably my goal here would be background environmental concept art. So that'll be envi concept art, illustration, and background art. So these two, the environmental concept art and the illustration, can fall into any category. We have these possibly in certain types of video games, early animations, among other things, background. So it falls under any category of the professional art world. But the background art will likely fall under, most likely fall under animation, right? Industry. So these three are things I'd like to do, but for learning these three, what I have to focus on first, so we're going to revisit the focus onto our fundamentals. So for now, I'm going to be using Marco Bucci's 10 Minutes to Better Painting for the first 10 episodes of this stream of ours to focus on learning the fundamentals. And today our fundamental will be shapes. So to begin with, what we're gonna do is we're going to move over and we're going to listen to Marco Bucci video, his 10 minutes to better painting series. So let's get the music down, let's full screen this, and let's give it a listen. And then after we've learned what we're gonna learn, then we're going to practice it a bit and then apply it. So let's listen to this YouTube video of his.
It's time to break out your pocket watch and your paintbrushes for this episode of 10 Minutes to Better Painting. I'm your host, Marco Bucci. Each episode will be structured as follows. Part 1 will be a short lesson that gets us into the subject with some visual examples. Part 2 will feature a full painting demonstration where I will show you how to apply the episode's lesson to your work. And Part 3 will be a final wrap-up of the episode with some closing thoughts. Richard Schmid said once that painters don't see more information than other people do, they actually see less. This episode is about merging shapes. You know that old painting maxim that advises you to simplify? Well, merging shapes is one of the many possible ways to do it. I love these etchings by Anders Zorn. They contain such a strong statement of light and character and mood and composition, and yet the medium is so primitive, it's just a bunch of chicken scratched lines on paper. Now, Zorn was a master of simplification and merging shapes, and that's exactly the tool he used to get such a high degree of quality here. Let me show you what I mean with the very
Simplification and merging shapes.
simple objects in this frame. And these objects will be lit by light, which means they also cast a shadow. We just painted a picture. But it's not all that exciting, right? I mean, it looks computer generated and boring. It certainly doesn't look like light. But why? Let's count the number of shapes in it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I had to make 9 shapes just to paint that. Geez, that's gluttony. Let's see if we can simplify this by merging some shapes together. I'll start by duplicating the painting. Now watch as it slowly fades into a simplified version. The same picture, but with the shapes merged together. Let's put the shapes in this version. 1 shape for all of that. 2, 3, and 4. I just reduced the shapes by more than half. Merging shapes means a reduction of information. I've given up the silhouette of every one of those little objects in favor of a larger silhouette.
So it's simplification.
The reason we simplify is to allow the mood to come through. And mood, that's where art lives. Take a look at this beautiful painting by Dean Cornwell, which I'm showing you in black and white for the purposes of this lesson. Specifically look at this area here, and I'd like you to appreciate for a moment how much information Cornwell has opted to lose by means of merging those shapes together. That's like half the picture reduced to 1 shape. We're not seeing pants or belt buckles or buttons. We're just seeing a big, dark shape. What that subliminally confers to the viewer is, this area is not important. Rather, look up to where the guy's face is, because that's where all the juicy mood and character lies. And even when we look at the face, sure, there is more information here, but Cornwell is pulling the same kind of design idea. The lower 2/3 of the head, as well as the neck and the shirt, are merged into 1 shape. Merging shapes enhances the element of mystery as well, which coincides
So
perfectly.
that's merging shapes.
Look at this breathtaker by Walter Everett. I think a lot of people would say that there's a lot of detail here, which in painter speak means a lot of shapes. But I actually don't think that there is. Looking at it with this simple filter applied, we can see it's actually a carefully manicured path of dark and light shapes merged together that lead us through the picture. I feel like everything this red line touches is an unbroken shape of dark, comprising the very backbone of this picture. And of course, you can merge shapes together in light, too. For example, this large shape made up of the women's veils and faces. So Richard Schmid is right. Through merged shapes, a painter does see less than what's actually there. But what he didn't say was that painting less is actually harder, because it requires us to do something that largely goes against our nature. That is, to express something not by being literal about it, but instead to reduce it to an essential design. This is the finished painting I'll be demoing for you in just a second.
So we're going to merge these shapes, simplify them
painting water
in a
reflecting
designed manner.
atmospheric perspective, the whole 9 yards. If our little example a moment ago had 9 shapes, imagine how many thousands of shapes you'll have to deal with in a picture like this. As I build this painting, pay specific attention to areas of shadow and areas of light in order to see which shapes are sacrificed in favor of a clearer design. So right away, I want to point out that I actually design my pictures with shape merging in mind. Even though I know there's going to be boats and figures and houses, I
Right.
first want to block in overall areas of light and shadow, as you see me doing right now.
Blocking in huge areas of light,
Kind of
shadow.
abstract design, the way that this picture is going to read. I know that in these big areas of light and shadow, that is where I will play with merging my shapes. So you see, subject matter is actually secondary, and I'm a firm believer that even the most realistic rendered painting is still an abstract piece of art first, because the painter always has to deal with these shapes that are divorced from reality. But that's what makes art fun. It's a reaction to something. It's not me literally trying to show you every window on every house and every figure. I want to imply that stuff, and I want you to be part of that experience. That is, I want you to fill in the shapes that I merge. So I'm kind of curating you through this picture. I'm stimulating your imagination, I guess, through means of merging these shapes and arriving at kind of an abstract design. Now see that texture I'm putting down? I think it's really helpful to work underneath texture. At least for me, it helps me escape that literal mindset and get into the abstract design mindset. And that's where you want to be, especially if you're painting out of imagination like I am here. So right now you can see the boats coming into the foreground. And you notice already where the boat meets the reflection in the water, those shapes are lost, they're merged together. Even the boats themselves are kind of merging into the houses. If you look at that boat about a third up from the bottom, it's kind of merging into the house. That to me is interesting. You know, I don't need to show you where the tip of every boat is for you to understand it. The human brain is remarkable. We fill in shapes all the time, even in real life. In fact, my conviction in this kind of approach is bolstered by the fact that this is actually rooted in human psychology. When you're walking around the street, you aren't seeing everything. In fact, you're barely seeing anything. You're only seeing the information directly in front of you. Your brain fills in the other stuff left and right. It happens all the time, every minute of every day. So the visual equivalent of that, to me, is merging shapes and actually showing less in your picture, like I explained in the lesson. By showing less, we can actually communicate more. Let me expand on that. If I were to show you every literal shape that actually would exist in this picture, I would lose the feeling of this location. It wouldn't capture it. It would be like reading a textbook. Whereas if I'm doing it like I am here with merging shapes and trying to mimic visually how I feel about this scene, I'm essentially sacrificing one thing, that is the amount of shapes, in order to gain something else, which is the feeling that is going to allow this picture to resonate with viewers. Now,
So
this is where painting gets very
we don't force the details.
choose which of these thousands of shapes get merged, and I just threw a posterized filter over it to evaluate my progress. The posterized filter helps me see
Right.
the trends of my lights and darks to see if I'm on the right track. So that's something you can use if you work digitally. Even if you work traditionally, you can scan your stuff, bring it into Photoshop, and
Simplify when possible.
I'm on the right track here. I like where this is going. I like how the posts are merging into the water, or merging into the boats, which are merging into the houses. There's even an indication of figures there, kind of ghosting in and out of lights and darks. Now, you do want to choose the key areas where your silhouette is very clear. Look at the third boat up from the bottom, this area here.
Right.
You notice that that boat is
Strong silhouettes
light shape.
versus weak silhouettes.
Something to latch onto as a viewer. So that is a very clear area of
Anchor point.
There's absolutely no shape merging going on. It essentially tells your brain this is a boat, and then it gives context to all the other stuff that's lost and merged. So I'm halfway through the painting here, which by the way took me about an hour and a half of real time to do. And the thing I love about this idea of merging shapes and coming up with big areas of light and dark is that it gives you a structure that you can depend upon for the entirety of the painting process. You know, I don't feel like I'm guessing now as I'm working on this. I
Right. Alright, so that was it for this bit. So our main takeaways from what I can see at least is that in these complicated shapes, we try our best to simplify these shapes so we don't get bogged down by merging certain shapes, and we can usually make that distinction with the use of light and shadow over here. So with these simplifications, it's okay to do that because the people's imagination will be the one to fill everything else in. And it's good to find singular, probably your subject point or your focus point to create a strong what do you call this, to create a strong almost anchor point for viewers to latch on into the image. So today I think that's what we're going to practice it a bit, right? So let's do that. For now, let's do that. So we're going to obviously just make a new layer here. Let's hide that other layer. And so we're going to work on merging these shapes. So let's just gray out our canvas for a bit so we have a good grasp on what we want light to be and what we want shadow to be. And I think what's a good subject matter, for now let's not do something crazy architectural. Probably let's go for a basic maybe a mountain range. A bridge would do well. So a simple bridge over some water. So for now, let's grab, let's probably paint it in monotone as well, just to keep the simplicity of it all. So now let's just block in probably some basic shapes of what the bridge ought to look like, right? Something like this, something simple like that. Right, and we gotta decide where light maybe should or shouldn't be. So maybe we gotta decide right now that let's make it underlit, right? So let's pick right now that there will be probably whiter lights coming from the bottom of this ravine. Something like that, right? Maybe not that white. Let's tone it down a bit, but yeah, light coming from the bottom of this ravine. We're not gonna go crazy detailed. We're just trying to learn how to merge some of these shapes. I'll probably just be using one or two brushes for this whole process anyway. So we'll paint it like that. So there's light coming from the bottom of this ravine, and then let's decide that let's deselect that. We're going to have a bridge right here, right? And that's gonna be a strong anchor point. So right now we're playing with 3 shapes, right? The first shape we have is the light shape. Then the second shape, 3 shapes. 2 of the light shapes separated by this one big dark shape. So let's add a few more shapes, maybe, by including some darkness into this. So maybe since it's a bridge, it's gotta have a walkway of sorts, right? Down, yeah, something like that, right? Some sort of walkway down, and maybe a couple of railings, right? So along the side of that, let's put some railings down as well. So we have a little bit of distinction. As we play with the line channel, let's just clean that up a bit. Right. So kinda looks bridge-ish enough, I guess. Obviously we're looking down at this bridge, so we'll darken this whole area up a tad bit, right? And obviously if we're gonna make it like there were some sort of guardrails, we'll set it up that this is a little lighter. Let's try and make straight lines here. Let's get some music started, let's be real. Alright. Let's pretend that this is gonna make a guardrail. Top, right? Just following this line here. Down. Then let's actually invite some of this light back in, just gently. We can clean it up later. Just a tad bit light, like here, straight holes, something like that, right? Show that like light will kind of peek through there. same here on the flip side. We're gonna want to make guardrails, so this is where the rails stand up through the thing. And then we're going to put shadow in them instead. Oh, yeah, so I'll grab that. A bit of shadow there. Doesn't have to be perfect right now. It's just there, something like that. Just to build the shapes up. Maybe what I'm doing is not the best idea, right? Because we're supposed to be simplifying, and I'm adding some of these details. So let's figure more things out. So right now what we got is this strange sort of bridge, right? We got these shadows in here, and let's go ahead and merge these shadows, right? And place them here as well, something like that, right? Signify the bottom of this. So yeah. Now we can maybe figure adding some sort of architecture, right? So let's just do simple. I'm not gonna do any 3-point kind of stuff, right? So let's go for simple straight lines. And now we're adding a couple of more shapes here, right? Straight up, we're gonna follow the direction of the, what do you call this, of the bridge, just to get it all consistent. There. And so what I want to do is I want to take this shadow here and push it into this alleyway. Let's try to merge these shapes again, right? And maybe push this shadow into this empty space as well, so we still have that. Light versus dark deal going on there. So the details don't really have to suffer. It's all about, at the moment at least, merging shapes. That's what we're learning to do, at least right now, is to get these shapes to merge together. So from this, maybe what I'll try to do is merge some more dark. I decided this whole alleyway will be dark, so let's just maybe, get some windows in there or something like that, right? Something just in there. This whole alleyway is dark. This whole portion of the building is what I'll be considering dark shape, right? This alleyway is dark. It's no, so the details can be a bit fudged, right? We'll pull some of this darkness in. See, these windows don't have to be entirely visible, but they can fall into the darkness like this. And I'm gonna say, okay, I kind of want to light up this portion of the building. So I'll take this, maybe along the same line. Take this along the same line this way. We'll light it up. So this building suddenly has developed its own shape as well. So let's light this building. Let's just light this building up. And since it's light in such a manner, actually these columns as well, I think of it, these ones here, they can kind of merge into the light as well a bit, right? Doesn't have to be, they don't have to be gray like that. Maybe, and then maybe the thinnest line, just to show that they're underlit, right? Right now we're not really going for details or perfection, just practicing these concepts that we learned from Marco just now, right? So same with this actually. Let's just scratch it along. Give it some light. Let's give the bottom of this some light as well, because surely there's some architecture there. There we go. Something like that, right? It's caught some of this light. And it's just, we're just gonna do it gently. Not too concerned on making the prettiest picture. Mostly just making sure that we understand what Marco was trying to teach us there. So we're merging these shapes, letting them bleed into each other almost. And we can just go back and clean stuff that got a bit too dirty there, right? But already it's looking fairly interesting. We'll pull these shapes outwards as well, right? So if I wanna plop down a huge building here, right? Let's say I do. Let's say I want to even go darker, right? And straight line down, and let's say the bottom of the building follows along this side and along this side to keep with the theme. Top of the building will obviously follow those same lines. Maybe I want even a little bit taller, right? Just to cut into our shapes. That's fine. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna pull it in this direction, and then we're gonna cover it. And we've covered some of our painting. Oh no, but That's fine. That's the deal with these things, right? And maybe let's do a little bit on the other side as well to cover some of that painting. It's a bunch of shadow anyway, right? So maybe from up here, and it goes straight this way, so obviously this will follow this way, this will follow the direction of that there. And guess what we've just made ourselves? We've made ourselves the little bit of silhouette that Marco was talking about, right? This sharp bit of detail that is powerfully silhouetted against the background that is mostly maybe I made that a bit too there, powerfully silhouetted in the background. So maybe let's give it a little more detail to that silhouette. Something like that. And this got some radio tower shit going on, whatever this place is. Doesn't have to. There we go. There, powerful silhouette against the background here. And so we're thinking in these design blocks. So obviously I can just almost merge these two shapes, these two buildings. Maybe just give a darker tone to this, the roof of this building, but ever so slightly. Right. Something like that. And same deal with this, we can probably just make a few windows, right? Again, we're just gonna make this slightly lazily, but they're all part of this darkness, right? This dark part, which is this shadow part that we are happily defining here and merging. So maybe we can get this. Well, we know this is probably gonna be a tad bit lower, right? Along the same angle. But we can light that up as well from the source of, you know, all this light. And same deal, we can just take these windows, these shadows, just place them there, I guess. The perspective is a bit fucked, let's be real. Maybe I can fix that. Well, it has to, because it has to follow the street, right? can just make it straight down. Yeah, has to be angled slightly to follow there. Well, that doesn't match at all. Alright. So how many shapes do we really have? From what we saw, all in all, I'd conclude this entire area, this dark area, is one shape. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 for the main shapes. Of course, we have all these tinier shapes from what we see in these buildings. Yeah, whatever. This is fine. Doesn't have to be super duper, right? Maybe we'll just do the same thing on this other side. See, I even fucked that up. Let's fix this. I know, there's probably a better way if I just made these windows on a, what do you call this? On a free transform thing. But whatever, right? Delete the bottoms, just like that. Then find the top bit to cut the window at. Maybe make this a tad bit smaller. Just follow through. Same with here. And up here. Alright, that's fine. We can leave it at that. We got maybe not so white, not so. Maybe we can just gently brush that on the insides of these, just to give it some sort of fake depth or whatever. Yeah, same deal with over here. Right, okay, so it looks pretty abandoned, pretty dark. So we'll try to even further. I want to kind of merge the shadow a little more. Same with this bit actually. I kind of want to merge these shadows a little bit. And maybe I can do that by turning it down the opacity and just kind of painting them into their environment. Same with this area and this area. Let's just pull the shadows in. We're gonna try to simplify this as much as possible. Reduce the amount of shapes. Let's just let the human mind take over, like Marco. Like I said, like human mind would know that there's probably a bottom to this building, and you know, there's probably a place to enter it, but for now it could be this dark well that we don't understand. Here we can darken this quite a bit as well, since the and actually, because of these light bits, we can actually put little blips of little light, the lightest little blips, just to show that the light kinda is passing through lightly. There, just kind of like that. What size is my starting canvas? 300 dpi, 14 by 8.5. That's how big my starting canvas was. Sorry, I didn't see chat. Currently I'm working with this kinda one monitor setup, so yeah, it's 13 by 18 dpi. 14 by 8.5 and 300 dpi. So yeah, I think these shapes are good. We'll just maybe get a soft brush and soften up the light area. Well, that's the goal, just to learn about the maybe that's too crazy. The goal was to pretty much just learn about the shape language, merging shapes, getting simplified result from the shapes. So I think with that even though we have our major shapes here is like 1 for the shadow, 2 for this area of light over here, 3 for this area light over here, and 4 and 5 for this 2 areas of light divided here. So maybe we can brush in some vague details into this lower area, right? Because that's what like Marco intended. Lighter details inside the just to signify there's some sort of wall at least, right? And it's not just this tub of light. Maybe we should actually take that soft brush and brush it in. Show that maybe light's not as strong up there. Climbing up this wall of light, and it's stronger down there near the center. It's still a light shape, right? We haven't made any lines or whatever that stop it from being a light shape. Yeah, now it's looking fairly abandoned, I'd say. Maybe we can take some of the light here and just gently brush it on the bottoms. Like, there's a line here that will catch it, right? Some sort of bottom thing. And here as well. It's a bit that'll catch it. So maybe we can put some people as well. I think that's something we can do. Maybe a couple of figures, right? Someone's staring here, right? Except because he's in the way of light, maybe it's just a little bit illuminated, right? Just shadow people, you know. You can shadow people as they do, yeah. Just being hit by the light itself, right? As they walk, as they're close by, maybe there's some that are walking along here, not so. Yeah, just people walking. Maybe it got a little more harrowing than I thought. These shadow boys are actually a bit scary. Maybe one looking over here, only to get, you know, the light catch his face or whatever. Maybe not that harshly. Oh man, no, it looks like he's gonna jump. Oh well, whatever. We can leave that. More shadow people just like straight up enjoying their day. Walking throughout the city. And again, like Marco said, we don't really have to. We can throw these shapes and these details away. It's fine, cause the reason being is, you know, we don't want to necessarily give ourselves the job of really, you know, of really taking care of every single shape, right? The shapes have to take care of themselves. The human psychology will take care of recognizing them at least, so we are just interested in maybe drawing them a bit, giving them a general, you know, hey, I'm here kind of vibe, but none really. Now it looks somewhat populated by spooky shadow entities, and that's fine, you know. They could be people. There. Right. Be gently there. Just gently lit, backlit. Maybe we could even bring one up here, right? Sitting down. With the younger one sitting down here on the edge of the building too, right? Feet over the edge like that. And kind of bleed them into the background. And I think that this is hopefully what Marco Bucci was talking about when he was telling us to keep the what do you call this? Keep the shapes simple and stuff. Let the shapes do their own work. Let the human psychology do their own work. The details, the brain will find the details on its own. So I don't really have to draw the details, aren't super important. So like, yeah, maybe I do want a couple of columns, sure. So I'll bring this up, make some straight columns down, but just ever so lightly, right? So, straight columns. These columns ended up not looking like columns, so we're gonna pull the Bob Ross and oh shit, Joel's head. Gonna pull Bob Ross and happy little accident them, like make them actual water instead. Pulling out of these pipes, these under pipes, and we'll do that by pulling some of this shadow and putting it in here as well. I make the pipes seem like they have a bit of depth. There we go, just like that. Just, yeah, something like that. So they're now water pipes, I guess. And of course, like, this drawing is a bit dirty, right? It can be cleaned up better, obviously. But that was, having this picture perfect drawing isn't exactly the goal of this exercise of ours right now. Goal is to learn the merging of shapes. So I know there's a bunch of tinier shapes here. Maybe, just maybe, I can even get rid of a few more to simplify these by. No, maybe not. That didn't work out at all. But I guess, yeah, it's similar. It's simplified enough. Alright, yeah. So, yeah, I guess this is it for this exercise. Hopefully I was able to... So let's go back to what we learned. Our notes. Let's go back to our notes from Bob, from Marco Bucci. So our fundamentals today were shapes, and with the fundamentals, we wanted to merge large shapes and simplify them. Block in areas with light and shadow, and create anchor points in the image for people's eyes to just latch onto. So we're looking at the anchor points and not looking at the loss of details, and then we'll let the imagination fill these details in. So let's see what we made here. I think our anchor point are, the silhouettes here, the people's silhouettes, the buildings, these water pipes, people's silhouettes. People have space, points of interest to look at in these areas, and then we let the dark areas just bleed into each other almost. So this entire dark area here, including this alleyway, just bleeds into itself. Same thing with this dark area over here, including the buildings. They bleed into itself. So if you were to squint real hard, you won't even see much of the details. You'll just see dark and light. And same with the light area. Maybe there's some simplification I could have done with these buildings. Actually, in fact, maybe if I just cut the edge of that building, it would make for more visually appealing. So we're gonna do that. We're going to grab this and go down and just maybe cut the top off of this building. Let it join the realm of the shadows there, something like that. Is that more visually appealing? I hope so. Well, it looks certainly looks more three-dimensional now, but there we are. So all these shadows have now bled into each other, and I think we are done here for now. Definitely a fundamental concept that I'm going to hammer down. So yeah, we have practiced these shapes, and so what I'm gonna do actually right now is I'm gonna take notes, so that in the future, when I see a piece of work that I've worked seriously on, right, have something missing, some oomph missing, we're going to go back to our fundamentals and go through a checklist of things that I may or may not have done. So for this checklist, we'll go back to this. The checklist will be number 1 under shapes. Number 1, can I simplify my shapes? Or are the yeah, can I merge my shapes? Can I have merged my shapes using light and shadow? This is light and shadow to simplify the image. To simplify the image. Yeah. So the for the our first lesson here, for our first lesson here, we want to know if we can simplify this, our images straight away by using better control of light and shadow. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to show you where we're going to browse ArtStation for a little bit. We're gonna browse ArtStation for a little bit, and we're gonna take a look at the front page and see what kind of artists use. See, these pro artists use this what do you call this? Let's see, the pro artists use this this technique. So I'll make that a tad bit bigger for you guys to see, and let's take a look at it. So looking at it, this one's interesting. Let's take a look. Yeah, fair enough. So we're looking at Henry Wong, freelance illustrator, VizDev, and concept artist. Now, immediately I can see. So there are just three shapes overall here, right? If we squint and disappear all these details, he has a dark shape for this upper area, which is like silhouetted against light that is off screen. The light shape, which is a raised area around this middle area, which the light happens to catch, and the shadow it's casting over here. All in all, that's 3 shapes. Same with this, we have 1 shape for the shadow over here, a 2nd shape for the light over here, a 3rd over here, and a 4th over here. So it really is various shapes. Now this is a little more tricky, but I think we can still take a look at it, right? So all in all, if we really squint our eyes and look, we have 1 dark shape that kind of merges into itself in a C shape over here, consisting of the horizon and the bottom of this hill, and then light shapes up here consisting of this field, and then another light shape obviously up here. So all in all, that's just 4 shapes, but this image is strong. He doesn't paint every blade of grass. He lets some of the details disappear into the darkness, which is, I think, what Marco Bucci was going at. Let's try to look at more environment-y stuff. Look for something that catches the eye like super quick. Let's look at this snowy one. So this snowy one, if we squint our eye, most of this forest up to this higher area here is 1 dark shape, right? He's allowed the darkness to cover most of this forest, and then the only light shapes is these lines over here. So with this strong contrast, we're able to see the dark and light. Almost, maybe I'd come out around 2 or 3 shapes with darkness and light. This is by Min Yum from Monded Studio. Alright, let's take a look at something else. Just try to hammer it in. Okay, let's take a look at this image here. So from what I can see, we have only 3 distinct dark and light shapes, right? So we have the C-shaped shape here on the left, which shows a, what do you call this? Shows a building and the foreground a bit merging into one shape. We have this long, large light shape here, including our main subject, which is this submarine, the water that's reflecting the light, and the sky. And then we have another shape here that's making a cast shadow, including this building. So all in all, if you squint back away and make this really tiny, like let's make it tiny on the screen. Like, make it really tiny. If you just look at it from really far away, barely looking at it, you can recognize that there are, in fact, it's shadow, light, shadow. Looking at it, shadow, light, shadow up here, light in the middle, and a shadow on the right. It makes for a really strong composition. Everything else was filled out, but the amount of details, for example, he chooses to put quite a bit of details on our subject matter, obviously, but you can notice in areas of the deep shadow, doesn't need that much details. Even here, the details start to kind of fade away, but the details are crispest when there's a transition to the shadow and light, or in the subject matter itself. Even, for example, in this light area, there's not too much details. This person's barely detailed, right? Part of the shadow shape. These things far away that are light are barely detailed either. So things that get that get the detailed treatment are those that are able to separate themselves as their own distinct shapes. But as the main shapes are formed, as these main shapes are formed, we can see that it's very simplified, and I think that's what Marco Bucci was looking at. Like, I just saw something here there. So super clear, just 4 shapes, right? The one on the left, the one on the shadow on the right, the shadow on the left, this light down the middle, and our silhouetted character. Such a powerful image, such a powerful composition, but the shapes are minimal, the details minimal. But this image is so great because he was able to compose like that. So let's take a look at my previous work and then try to see. Let's try to see examples of where I wasn't able to do it right. So let's take a look at my earlier work where it's just a mishmash of too many shapes, and already we can see this is sort of a failure in that. So there's so many shapes going on. If you squint your eyes, make this go super tiny, it's just chaos almost. I can't see any merging of shapes. I tried to cram so many details in there. My eyes are tired and there's nowhere to rest. If I had darkened the shape of this under area here, this upper area here, and maybe the barrels, then I would have been able to have a stronger shape like that. But let's take a look at something else. For example, this one as well, it's not too bad. We have a C shape of shadow here and some shadow-ish in this upper area and a light area in this. center, and up here. Still quite a bit of shapes. The shapes aren't. I didn't allow the shapes to merge too much. Although I'm starting to learn a little bit on this area. Let's move to something more recent. Here, I have much better control of my shapes. So this entire right portion is one shape. This entire light area is another shape, and then darkness again on the left, another shape. Mostly 3 or 4 shapes in total. That's a lot more control than what we had earlier with that mishmash. Let's look at something else as well. Maybe, yeah, this recent one I made. This one as well has shapes merged. Almost this entire left area of darkness is a merged shape. This right area of darkness as well, merged shape. The center area is a dark shape, and then we have a bunch of interconnected light shapes. And just because of the nature of it, right, there's light and dark, this image held so much more visual impact over here than my image down here, for example, where the shapes are just crazy. This one actually turned out quite well with light, dark, light as a shape language, but this was not being thought of. I did this by mistake, and because I did this by mistake, and I thought it looked good as one of my earlier works, and it's because I was able to mistakenly use this earlier shape language one. So now that we've taken a look at some of my older works and maybe seen the power of these pro artists with their professional work, like look at this one, gorgeous shape language. Not shape language, sorry, merging of shapes, light and shadow. So there's one dark shape over here, one dark shape over here, and circular light shape or a ring light shape out here. And it just made the image so powerful and so impactful. And he didn't draw every detail in these shadows. These shadows are mucked up with things that are difficult to understand. The only place he put details are in the places where the shadow and light meet. These silhouettes for where our eyes grab onto the silhouette, but otherwise he let our imagination fill out what's like, how do these wood panels connect to the floor, or where's the rest of this boat. It merges into the shadow, and I think this is a great image that Marco Bucci would be approving of with regards to our lesson today about the shapes. So let's bring this back to normal size up here, and let's get rid of it for now, and let's look back on our lesson. We've seen the pros do it, and we've made our approximation with our art here. So I think after looking at the pros, obviously this was just made super quick as a practice one, but after looking at the pros and looking at ours, let's the main difference they use is they use far more powerful silhouettes, I think, to grab the eye. I don't have that many powerful silhouettes here, so next time I'm gonna try this, I'm definitely going to add a stronger silhouette. So I think for the study portion of our shapes, we're going to be done with the study portion for now, and we're going to do a quick intermission, and then we're going to return for the free paint portion, where we'll just paint for the sake of painting, not exactly studying. We'll just paint what we like and see what comes out, and get back later. So let's take a quick 5-minute break. See you guys in a bit. Okay, and we are back. So now, let's take the intermission screen off. Now we're going to go to the Frida portion, where we're just gonna chill. We're gonna draw what we like. Never mind what the lesson demands of us, or anything like that. It's free draw. So now we can relax for now. So I want to bring this canvas up to gray. And So let's get these darker colors in for now. So what are we making today? Not quite sure yet. All I know is I want to play with light a bit. So I'm thinking I want to start a perspective grid real quick. So I'm thinking somewhere around here. And something like this for now. Yeah. There and there. Just guide me real quick. Control E. It's not exactly a perspective grid, but it's a good place to start. Just to determine, you know, what I'm gonna be looking at. Yeah, 1 point is fine. Let's not go too crazy. I actually want to go darker blue and closer to the grays. And go up. Yeah, let's add some verticality to this. Something like this, yeah. Same deal, let's bring that up. Some real verticality. And one more, probably. Oh no, let's actually bring it up all the way here. And cover that corner, and then have one more here. There we go. Oh yeah. And then let's do this. Yeah, let's just get rid of this entire fucking corner. Just bathe that in darkness and shadow. So we can do the same here. And then what we're gonna do is cover maybe this area, right? And same here. This is gonna be a wall. Except it's gonna get real dark as it comes close here. This area. So we're bathing the shadow. Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And how am I gonna handle this? Let's separate it foreground, midground, background kind of deal. So Let's get this lasso tool. No, this is probably where it wants to start. To here, and then yeah, here. So we can cut this bit out and make it the foreground. Right click via cut. So that's our foreground. Our midground will consist of let's just cut this bit out. Yeah, so what's important is we kind of follow this angle that we already have over here and match it as much as possible. Is that equal? Is that even? Is that even? No. Here, maybe, yeah. And then same deal. Straight up, cut that out. Via cut. So yeah, that's how it's gonna look like. And then maybe we can darken. I can grab the brush and kind of let loose a bit. Don't have to really commit to any shapes or whatnot, but let's try to figure it out. Oops. Maybe I should draw this on its own layer. Like, kind of have this. I'm already lost. Where the hell did I put my horizon line? God damn it. Right here. I put my horizon line right here. Let's just mark that vanishing point. Yeah, okay, good. Jesus. Yeah, we'll just block in these shapes for now. They can have this sort of like a torso of a statue, I guess, something like that. Right. That's when we can merge this shape with the background. There we go. Oh, that's a little crazy. What have I done? Yeah, let's just merge the shape with the background. Now you see that doesn't look right. I think I fudged the perspective a wee bit over here. Yeah. Maybe if this should go a bit lower actually, so should this. Alright. So a little bit we're kinda, you know, implementing what we learned from what do you call this? We're implementing what we learned from Marco Bucci already. So let's figure it. It feels a little imbalanced with the darkness. So let's put oh yeah, that's fine actually. Let's just make that very clear. This is gonna be a dark area. And maybe we should endeavor to merge these two. Like they said about the simplification and stuff, right? And I'm actually just gonna go over to this layer, pick this and just maybe gently. Am I blind? Maybe gently. Am I an idiot? Excuse me. There, maybe gently just give it some three-dimensionality, or just a tad bit. Maybe I went too crazy, maybe I went too far. Let's pick that brush, make it small, carve that out again. Oh, my opacity is at 2%. Oh no! I didn't realize. Right, I was. This whole time right, of course. This whole time I was painting on one layer and I grayed out the background. I should be painting it on. No, I don't want to take that away. There we go, much better. Just gently like that, okay. Yeah, let's just darken this as well. Oh wait, should pick this really. So this, I actually do want to just go ham, darken these corners. Same with this, I think I'll just darken it all a smidgen. There. Now we're looking at a little more playful light. Obviously I'm gonna fix the way the pillars create light in the shadow and shit over there afterwards. Maybe I should fix it now, or maybe not. Maybe this is tiniest line. Start with the line first for now. There, like such. Same with this other side, like so. And maybe I want to draw a door over here. And it should probably be on this layer, really. I'll draw a door over here. And again, we don't have to go crazy with details because of what Marco Bucci said, so let's just simplify the door. Put a few things, tiny things in the distance, right? Say maybe another statue of someone. It doesn't even need to, it just needs to look barely human, right? Vaguely, since it's gonna be shrouded in this darkness anyway. And then, I kind of want to put something on the left, but I have no idea what I should put. I want something dark again, obviously. Where is that? Up here. Yeah. So maybe I want to put something like this. Bring it down to the floor, something like that. And then now maybe we can add a tad bit of, detail that exists should exist pretty much in the shadows only, right? Like this can be some sort of a dresser or drawer. Like it's okay to give it a bit of there, something like that. There, and then something like that. Then same with this upper area, right? Give it some it's just carving out some details on it or whatever, as long as it behaves. Now's probably a good time to add the subject matter of it. So, I actually should, draw him in already. So since we're going for blue, just trying to hit something. Yeah. This small lad. Let's go with something a little strange. There we go, something like that. Alright, so it gives us an opportunity to do some subsurface scattering, which is always fun. Except I obviously put it on the wrong layer again, so let's Control D him and decide how big he should be. So if that's the horizon, oh, I touched the horizon line. Fine, it's fine. No, go back to being straight. If that's the horizon line, and normally a person would be up here, if we follow this horizon line back, maybe this size is fine. Alright. Let's go back to this. What? Excuse me. Nope, I'm done. Excuse me? Why is this happening? Oh no. Am I gonna get a Photoshop crash? Brush, please. Oh no. Brush, please. Well, this is obviously not good. Uh-oh. Alright, okay, there. Now please give me my brush. Good. Control Z. I Control D. Maybe. To fit the angle, maybe I need to brush this over as well just a bit. And of course, as we would know, there's no real, what do you call this, sharp lines if they're far away, right? Oh, but when we actually drop the color in, we're good to go. I should have fucking done that already, honestly. It's fine. So let's figure. Let's figure a guy. Oh no. Maybe a little bit of that. And let's merge this cast shadow into our shadow over here. So we'll take this and merge it in. Oh, obviously I probably shouldn't have gotten rid of this. Alright, maybe it's time to add some light. So let's bring this here. Yeah. Select this. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna have no choice. I'm gonna have to use the lasso tool again. Oh no, it's lagging on me again. No, please, not like this. I should have just drawn these as on a separate layer so I could just mess with the background as needed. Actually, I can do that. I'll separate them as a... yeah. Oh no. Yes, lagging hard. Not like this, please. Let's see. Is it better now? Yeah. No. Oh no, computer, please. You should be able to do this. I ain't playing. No. Sir, please. That's truly unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, I think my Photoshop. Oh, okay. Oh no, that's a problem straight up. Yeah, no, it's straight up lagging. Whoa, God, that's straight up unfortunate. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Oh gosh. Well, oh, that's truly unfortunate. I can't even open Photoshop anymore. I alt tab. Well, that is so unfortunate. No, I can't open Photoshop anymore. I've alt tabbed and I've. God, this is cursed. Okay, well, we'll probably work on this on the next stream, on the next creative session after the learning bit. But for now, I'll end the stream. Hopefully, I'll try to save a version of this. Remember, folks, be like Jesus and make sure you save. Alright, I think this is the end for today. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope we all learned something with regards to shapes from Marco Bucci. So just to reiterate, going back to what we've learned, the function of these shapes are to make their image more simple and easy to understand. We don't want to clutter our images with a bajillion shapes that are very distinct. So those shapes that are close enough together and don't require that much attention can be merged. So what I have right here is my notes, which is gonna be a checklist for everything we have. And in the checklist, our number one for our fundamentals checklist is, can I have merged my shapes on my image? Can I use light and shadow to simplify the image? So I'm gonna update this checklist every time we cover a new topic, so that next time we create a piece of work and we're thinking, I'm not sure how to improve this work, we can always go back to our fundamentals, take a look at the checklist. So simplify your images, use large shapes, keep the shapes few, and use light and shadow to their full extent and advantages. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you've learned something, and I hope I've learned something as well. See you next time. I think next lesson will be, what would it be? Well, we'll see. Probably forms or something like that. We'll see you next time. Alright, cheers everybody, bye.